welcome back to the second annual Captain Vitus Oscar Showcase. This is the show that I did a year ago. I'm doing it again now. The show I kind of started this channel to do, where I basically talk about the Oscars. The Oscars are my big deal. They're like a second Christmas to me, and as a guy who doesn't like football, this is basically the closest thing I have to a Super Bowl. So these are super important to me. So I started doing this last year, where I do a show where I show you my picks and my predictions for 6 of the bigger nominated categories. And I do that. And I had a backdrop last year. It was very fancy. I don't have one this year, because AMC decided to screw the Best Picture Showcase up and not give us anything. Got an Imitation game poster. Lovely. And before we roll out the show, I should say I am kind of taking part in this pretty big deal. It's an Oscar bet that I have going with a bunch of awesome YouTubers. Like, this thing is being led off by Ramster, who is like amazing. I love Ramster. He's like one of my best YouTube friends ever. And basically, we have, I think, 12 nominations we're covering where we choose our predictions. We were all supposed to make videos. This is mine. But I'm only covering 6 because time. And yeah. So those other few, I'll leave my other nominations in the description. How about that? We good there? We good there? I hope we're good there. I want to keep on talking. Let's start the show. Alrighty, so starting things off, we have Best Animated Feature Film. This is a category that got very screwed this year. Because we had this little movie called The Lego Movie. It was, you know, only one of the greatest animated films of all time. Not even nominated. But what was nominated was... the nominees are The Box Trolls. How did that get in there? It wasn't good. Big Hero 6, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. And my prediction for this one is the one that was going to give Lego Movie a run for its money if Lego Movie was nominated. Now that it's not, I see no way How to Train Your Dragon 2 doesn't take this. Like, seriously, it won the Golden Globe, and that's normally kind of a precursor to the Oscar, and that won against Lego Movie, so I don't think this has competition this year. Its only real competition would be Big Hero 6, but I think this thing is going to take it home. That being said, I thought How to Train Your Dragon 2 was the most overrated film of last year, so Ash, what do you choose? What do you choose? I'll tell you what I don't choose is Box Trolls. I don't know how that got in there. What I do choose is a little movie called The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. This is the new Studio Ghibli movie. I just saw it recently. It just came out on Blu-ray. It is beautiful. You talk about animation. This entire thing looks like a Japanese watercolor painting. It is incredible. Not to mention the story is great. The voice acting is really good. This thing is led off by Chloe Grace Moretz, who's up and coming, one of my favorite new actresses, and she lends her voice to the main character in this film and does great. It is a great new film from Studio Ghibli, not their best, but I think it would be awesome if this thing took the award, because in my Oscars, the Oscar would go to The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Now that was a good start. Now we're going to get into the bigger leagues, the ones that weren't BS'd this year. And to start things off, we are going to go into Best Director. And the nominees are Richard Linklater for Boyhood, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, I learned that name, for Birdman, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher, Wes Anderson in his first Oscar nomination for Best Director, that baffles my mind, for The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Martin Tildum for The Imitation Game. And now this one, there's some names missing. I thought Fincher definitely should have been in there for Gone Girl, because that thing, you talk about direction, perfect. Whoever, Dan Gilroy, I think that was the guy who did Nightcrawler, that guy should have been in there. Not going to get too hung up on that, because we still do have a very prestigious list of directors here. And the way I look at it, it's really going to be a 2-horse race here. You know, we got the other 3, and that's nice they were, you know, nominated, except Martin Tildum. How did he get nominated? But the 2 that this is coming down to, in my mind, are Linklater and Iñárritu. And honestly, he's been taking all of them, so I think my prediction is going to have to be Richard Linklater. This dude filmed one cast of characters over a 12-year period, somehow made it not suck. He worked with people who hadn't acted before, like these children, and he made them believable. So if he wins, I won't be mad. That being said, this is my Oscar show, and in my Oscar show, we have this little technical achievement this year called Birdman, so I have to give my pick to Alejandro González Iñárritu, because there are incredible stars in his movie, but the real star of this film is him. The fact this entire thing looks like one continuous tracking shot baffles my mind. It is incredible, not to mention he gets these incredible performances out of his actors. There's not a bad egg in the bunch. I think he should get this. If he gets this, I will be very happy. Because in my Oscars, the Oscar would go to Alejandro González Iñárritu. I have killed that name now. I think I called him Michael once. I called him Michael once. I don't even know what got Michael. I don't know. There's your award. Up next, we are now going to delve into the performances of the great actors and actresses of 2014, starting things off with, of course, Best Supporting Actress. And the nominees are Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Laura Dern, very happy to see her in there for Wild, Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game, Emma Stone for Birdman, and Meryl Streep for Into the Woods. How did she get in there? I don't know. This one, I'm going to tell you this. When I was writing down my list of things at the showcase today, and honestly, I've been agreeing with my predictions. So in this one, my prediction and my pick are going to be the same, because I don't see any other way. I love this list of people. Emma Stone deserves to be in there. I was very happy to see Laura Dern pop in there because she was great and Wild. But my prediction and my pick have to go to Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. What a real performance from this woman. She plays the mother of this kid through 12 years period, and she is so real. That's the best compliment I can give to her, is she feels like a mother. You can see her and you can take up little bits and be like, that reminds me of my mother. And she kills this role. She is just so fantastically good. I see no way this doesn't go to her, and it definitely should. Because in my Oscars, and probably the actual ones, the Oscar will go to Patricia Arquette. Now that we've covered the actresses in their great supporting roles, let's go on over to the other side. Let's talk about Best Supporting Actor. And the nominees are Robert Duvall for The Judge. Bad movie, but he was good in it. Ethan Hawke for Boyhood. Edward Norton for Birdman. Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher. And J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. This one is just a fantastic category this year. I can't think of anyone I'd push out, honestly. Like, there were just some incredible supporting performances this year, and I'm glad to see we have both the Hulks going up against each other with Ruffalo and Norton. Both of them did fantastic. I loved Ethan Hawke in Boyhood. I was just talking about Patricia Arquette. This guy is amazing in that movie. I saw it a third time today. That being said, once again, my pick and prediction are the same, and this might be my biggest push this year. This might be the win that I am most hoping for, and I think it's a lock. We gotta give this to J.K. Simmons for his role as Terrence Fletcher in Whiplash. I mean, this dude killed this role. He is terrifying. The second he walks into a room, not only the room in the movie hushes, the room in just your theater hushes. He commands this attention and this presence. And the way he just yells at these people. I compare him to the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket if he just became a jazz guy. Like, that's what J.K. Simmons is in this movie, and this is not only one of the best performances I've seen all year, this is one of the best performances I've seen, period. I think Terrence Fletcher in general is going to go down in history as one of the greatest movie antagonists of all time. So there is no way this doesn't go to J.K. Simmons. There are not a lot of locks this year, but I think this one is definitely a lock. There is no way it doesn't go to him. So of course the Oscar goes to J.K. Simmons. Now that we talked about our supporting casts, let's get into the people who lead our movies, who lead us through these journeys. That was a great segue. We are talking Best Actress in a Leading Role. And the nominations are Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, 1 Night, I believe it's called. The IMDb is telling me something else, but I'm not going to listen. Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. And Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Now, this is another one that I just think the Academy nailed. I didn't see Cake. I heard Aniston probably should have been in there instead of Cotillard. But, you know, I just think this is a fantastic category. Reese Witherspoon really surprised me in Wild. We just got some great talent here. But, and I would have said Rosamund Pike if you asked me a few months ago, because Rosamund Pike is definitely the second frontrunner for this. But once again, my pick and prediction are the same, because this has got to go to Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Julianne Moore in Still Alice isn't only the greatest performance by an actress I saw all of last year, it's just one of the greatest performances I've seen from her, period. This is an actress who is incredible and has never had a win. She's had so many nominations, never had a win. I think this is going to be her chance to shine like she did in Still Alice. She was incredible. She played this woman who was only 50 years old and diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and she is heartbreaking in this film and works so perfectly. I don't see any way this doesn't go to her. Rosamund Pike maybe has just a little shot, but I think this has got to go to Julianne Moore, and it's well deserved. And the Oscar goes to Julianne Moore. Now that we've talked about the actresses in their leading roles, how about we go on to the actors? The best actor in a leading role category. Now this one was probably the most stacked of the year. This one was just, it was huge. Like, there were so many people who should have gotten in that didn't get in. How is Jake Gyllenhaal not in here? David Oyelowo isn't in here. I would have made an argument that Ralph Fiennes should have been in here. But we got our list of 5. Let's count them down. Starting off, Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper, Michael Keaton for Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Now, once again, this thing is insane stacked. Personally, if I was running this show, you would take Cumberbatch and you would take Cooper out first, and then you take out Cumberbatch, replace them with Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler and Oyelowo for Selma. How did that not get nominated? That's insane to me that just incredible talent like that didn't get nominated. But I'm not gonna cry, because even if they did get nominated, I just can't see any other way this thing doesn't go to one of the other two. This thing is a 2-horse race between Michael Keaton and Eddie Redmayne. And honestly, I thought Keaton was gonna take this. I really did. But he's been going around winning all these awards. Jupiter Ascending, I don't think it was, well, it was that bad, but I hope it doesn't affect Eddie Redmayne's chances of winning, because he is my pick and my prediction. That is right, I am just killing it with these picks and predictions. Maybe not killing it, just agreeing with everything. But yeah, Eddie Redmayne, I have made it incredibly clear. This is my favorite performance of last year. Just in general, no one was better than Eddie Redmayne in my eyes. J.K. Simmons is a close second, but Eddie Redmayne plays Stephen Hawking in the way he chronicles Stephen Hawking's just kind of trip into Lou Gehrig's disease is heartbreaking, it is shocking, and it is believable. Like, I saw this movie again today, and I was blown away by how well he did this. I couldn't have even tried to do this. The way he chronicles the disease and how it affects Hawking at all these different spots, he blew me away. This is one of the best performances I have seen in ages, and I think it's going to go to him. There is a very real shot it goes to Keaton, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say it goes to Redmayne. Alright now, that's all right. Oh wait, there's one bigger one. Best Picture. That's right, we are going into Best Picture now. This is the big award. This is the one that goes crazy. This is the one that's going to probably make some people angry, make some people happy. But basically, like what I did last year, instead of just running them down normally, we are going to chronicle all of the Best Picture nominations with short little reviews. Some of these movies I reviewed, some of I didn't get around to reviewing, and some of the ones I did review, I changed my mind on my rating for them. So, we are going to go on to our teeny little mini reviews in our lightning round. Of course, starting things off with American Sniper. Wow, this thing made money. This thing made incredible bank, but I'm not entirely sure why, because it is the weakest of all the nominated films. After seeing it a second time, I can say it gets really boring at points, but at the same time, it's still a great war movie. It's very intense, definitely redeems Eastwood from that crap box that was Jersey Boys. Cooper does amazing, he does incredible. Maybe not Oscar worthy, but he really does incredible. I enjoy American Sniper for what it is. It's got the greatest fake baby of all time, and by the way, if you watch that movie, watch they CGI his fingers, but American Sniper gets a B out of 10. Now we are on to Birdman. This is a technical marvel. The way this film was directed is majestic. The fact it all looks like one long tracking shot is amazing, and the editing is just so fluid and flawless you never even notice when it cuts. Not to mention some of the best performances all year from Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis blew me out of my mind in this role. It is just a great satire on the current superhero culture, while at the same time kind of poking fun at this guy who used to play this guy named Batman. I don't know if you heard about him, but yeah, Birdman's great. Birdman gets an A out of 10. Up next is the 12-year epic itself, Boyhood. Now, Boyhood is one of my favorite movies of last year. I thought this thing was incredible. At a near 3-hour runtime, it is still watchable because you get to watch this one kid grow up for 12 years, and the fact it took 12 years to make says that. And a lot of people have complained, well, it doesn't have a story. To which I'd argue, it doesn't need one. This is the story of a life, and the fact it didn't come out just terrible because of how crazy this production was shocks me. It shocks me, and it came out just phenomenal and just amazing. Two of the best performances of the year with Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke. Boyhood gets an A out of 10. Up next is The Imitation Game. Now, this is one I didn't like as much. I know my theater loved it. I thought it was good. It's a very good movie, and an important one too, about Alan Turing, who is this guy who created this computer that could break the Enigma code and win World War II, and that's awesome. And he was also homosexual, which was illegal in the time, so you see him get chemically castrated, and how incredibly just depressing his life got afterwards, and how he really didn't get recognition for what he did. In fact, he just kind of got kicked in the dick. However, I didn't think it was that good. It's one of those movies where it just something feels off. I don't think the characters can go from 1 to 100 a bit too quickly. Still, regardless, it's pretty good. I want a poster of it, so that's a thing. Cumberbatch does incredible, but Cumberbatch always does incredible. The Imitation Game gets a B out of 10. Up next is The Grand Budapest Hotel. This movie is so good. I am a die-hard Wes Anderson fan, and I saw this movie once and I was like, oh yeah, that was really good. Saw it a second time, I was like, that was really good. I saw it a third time, now I'm just in love with it again. It is so quirky and fun. It's a murder mystery directed by Wes Anderson. That's all I gotta tell you. Ralph Fiennes gives probably my favorite performance of his career. I know everyone's like, English Patient was so good. He is hysterical in this movie. It's just on a whole nother level. I would have argued he might have deserved an Oscar nomination for this role. This movie is just all around great. It's great to see all the Wes Anderson-ness of it, including the incredibly long cast. I love this movie. The Grand Budapest Hotel gets an A out of 10. Now we got Selma. Holy crap, how has it taken this long to make a Martin Luther King movie? Selma is about Martin Luther King Jr. when he was trying to get the right for black people to vote. And they already kind of had it, but people were being mean about it. And Selma is just powerful. That's the best word to describe this movie, is powerful. I have barely cried this year, but Selma got tears out of me, because it is one of the most hard-to-watch movies. It can be intense at times, but it's one that needs to be watched. I think this should be shown in schools, because it's just so informative. Not to mention, David Oyelowo becomes Dr. King. It is just baffling to me he didn't get recognition for this, because it is one of the best performances I've seen all year. Period. Selma gets an A- out of 10. Up next is The Theory of Everything. Now, this is the tale of Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant minds to ever exist, and this movie is great. I don't think it's incredible, because as much as I really enjoyed Hawking's life story and I liked seeing it play out before my eyes, it did get a bit slow at times, and some of the relationships, I know it's like based off true stories, but some of the relationships still kind of angered me in a way a movie would anger me. But regardless of all that, Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones handed incredible performances, especially from Redmayne, who once again is my favorite performance of the year, my favorite to win Best Actor. I think this dude destroys this role, and he is really what rises this movie, which is a great movie, up to incredible heights. The Theory of Everything gets a B+ out of 10. And last up is my favorite movie of last year, Whiplash. This thing is insane intense. One of the most tense movies I've seen all year. It is literally, oh hey, the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, let's make him a music teacher. That is Whiplash. This thing is a psychological mind battle between Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons as his incredible and already iconic Terrence Fletcher. This movie had my blood boiling. It got me hype as crap. Not to mention, some of the quotes in this movie are hysterical. Yeah, they're mean, but so are the ones from Full Metal Jacket, and I love them. But Whiplash, it's perfect. It's perfect, and it gets an A+ out of 10. Alrighty, I guess it's time to hand out that statue. We've gone over all 8 of the nominated films for Best Picture. I've seen all of them multiple times, keep that in mind. Not a single one has been seen once. I've seen them all at least twice or 3 times. So I think I know what I'm talking about. But basically, finally we're getting to where my prediction and picks are different. And my prediction for this year is, this thing is really coming down to 2 in my mind. This thing could either go to Birdman, or it could go to Boyhood. And these things have been mind-battling in my mind for a long time. I thought it was going to be Birdman. Then Birdman lost the Globe to Grand Budapest, which kind of put me off. And I know, hey, it's the Globes, it's just where everyone gets drunk. But it did awaken something in my mind where I honestly think this is going to go to Boyhood. And you know what? It probably deserves to. Boyhood is, it's an achievement. And I cannot stand the people who are like, yeah, it's just an achievement, that's it, it's not a good movie. It's an incredible movie. I've seen it 3 times now. I could watch it a 4th right now. It is just beyond incredible. Not to mention, I think it's more accessible to people than Birdman, because with Birdman, you really need to be a film fan to love that movie. With Boyhood, I think it's accessible to everyone. I loved it, my mom loved it, my cousin loved it, everyone loved Boyhood. So I think that is going to be your prediction for Best Picture, and honestly, if it happens, I won't be mad. That being said, you could probably already guess that is not my pick. Now, if you were paying attention there to all my ratings, I only gave one of those movies a perfect score, and I also mentioned it was my favorite movie of last year. So Whiplash kinda has to take this for me. I loved Whiplash. I could watch this movie for days. This thing comes out on Tuesday. I am buying it day 1. I am losing my mind over how excited I am to watch it again. I haven't watched it in a whole week, guys. A whole week. This thing is just beyond incredible. It is one of those movies where I saw the trailer and I was like, eh. Then I watched it and I have never been so speechless at the end of a movie. Because the final scene in this movie is my favorite final scene of last year. It was just perfect. And so is Whiplash. So I am going to have to say, Best Picture goes to Whiplash. And there you have it, guys. That is the 2nd annual Captain Vitus Oscar Showcase. Hope you had fun. I had fun. I had fun doing this, even though it's 10 at night. It's 10 at night right now. I like to do this in the morning, but it's not... I have a slow computer, so I'm going to be working on this. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. I want to hear what your picks and your predictions are for all the categories I said, and maybe more. Also, be sure to check out my picks for the other ones for the Oscar bet below. And be sure to tune in, I think on Monday, we'll try and get it on Monday, where I host a live Google Hangout where we are going to talk Oscars post the show. And we're going to announce the winner of the Oscar bet on there. So get hyped for that, guys. But enjoy the Oscars and stay classy. Now let me do that again. Stay classy.